Hi, my name is Dr. Caxton. This video is sponsored by the Marriage Builders Institute and the Divorce Prevention Ministries. The Marriage Builders Institute is going to be coming to the Dallas area pretty soon. We're coming all the way from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we've located here to the Dallas-Frisco area. Again, I said my name is Dr. Caxton. Tonight I want to talk to you a little bit about the fundamentals of marriage. The fundamentals of marriage. Recently I decided to do this video because I met some passionate young people on a journey, just a brief journey, getting on the airport and getting on the plane. I spoke to a couple of people, and particularly a young lady, and this young lady was reading a book by Dave Ramsey, and the book was titled, Money Matters. I'm sure you've heard of Dave Ramsey on television, radio, and all that stuff. Anyway, she was about 19, 20. She was reading a book about finances and how to get your finances in order at that young age. And it was puzzling to me that most of these young girls are preparing thoroughly for a future marriage. And if you're a counselor, you'll notice that a lot of times there's a gap between what men know and do in relationships and what women know. It seems that the women are doing more now than they were doing before, and also learning more, while the men just didn't do much. So our conversation, we connected when I said, well, I'm not sure. I don't see a lot of men reading books like this. I see much more women reading the books. And her response was, well, strangely, my boyfriend, my fiance, I've told him about the book and he doesn't want to read the book. Is that typical? Here, tonight, on this video session, we're going to be sharing some things about the fundamentals of marriage. If you're the kind of guy that doesn't want to read a book because it makes you feel like a wimp, if you're reading a book about relationships, you think you know everything, it's not a wimp that studies. It's an ignorant person that refuses to study, and failing to study and read and enlarge your mind's capacity for understanding your environment and the people around you will only guarantee failure, and that's what makes you a wimp. Today we're going to look at just the fundamentals of the things that I will be talking to you about on a series of videos. These are the fundamentals of marriage. The conversation I had with that lady confirmed one thing, that women are more hungry to learn about how to do the best in their relationships, and most men are not. So, what are these fundamentals? In another video session, we will look at the importance of marriage, but here we're looking at the fundamentals of marriage. 7 things, 7 of them. And the first is choosing wisely. Okay, you must know how to choose wisely if you're thinking of marriage. It is one of the fundamentals of a good marriage. And as you know, most people don't choose wisely. The second thing that you need to understand when it comes to the fundamentals of marriage is to examine past issues diligently. Again, most people miss out in that area. They never examine the past issues. The issues in their past, in the life partner's past, that could adversely affect their relationship now and even in the future. The third thing is to not just examine, but to resolve. In other words, resolve those past issues. Once you get there, you can start again looking at the 4th fundamental, to start building. Most people feel it's when they've put the ring on each other and said, I do, that they should start building. As you will find out from the Marriage Builders strategy for relationships, you start building while you are single. And the components of what and where you build are a part of this video sessions that we will be doing. The 5th thing is to learn the fighting rules. If you learn how to fight in a marriage, you're on your way, provided your partner also learns how to fight. If you don't know how to fight, chances are you'll fight ugly, or your partner fights ugly. And unfortunately, When people come together to marry one another, it's not because they hate each other, it's because they love each other. They really want to build something together. So not only must you learn to fight, you must have fighting rules. Create those rules before you marry. Number 6, we're talking about the fundamentals of marriage. Number 6, you must learn how to love. Now, don't go getting married to somebody and then say, well, my mom didn't have a husband, my dad didn't have a wife, and so you're a wife beater, or you're a woman who doesn't understand the needs of your husband, and then you try to castrate him or denigrate him or insult him or just humiliate him totally till a whole number of catastrophes happen, either to you, to your husband or your wife, and everything goes downhill from there. You must learn how to love. We'll get to some of the books that will be helpful to you as we go through this series on the fundamentals of marriage. Lastly, and I must say that learning how to love, there is a mentor approach and there is an indirect approach. Both can be very helpful as opposed to having nothing at all. Lastly, you must learn how to build. Remember, the 4th thing we said was you must start building. That means from the 5 principal areas, you must know how to build. You must start building. And when it comes to building, you ask, what do I build? First, you build yourself. If you're not well built, you're not studying enough to go into a marriage and survive that marriage. And if you are, you may destroy the other person. So you build yourself. That's the 4th fundamental issue. And then the 7th fundamental issue is learn how to build the marriage itself. I have references. I have some books that I've written in that area that might be helpful to you, and books by other authors that I think are unique and exceptional in helping you build a truly successful marriage. Again, the first thing we're going to look at is choosing wisely. If you don't know how to choose, how can you choose the right person? If the right person is standing in front of you, how will you know? You wouldn't. And so in the next video session, we're going to look in greater detail at how to choose. Before we close, because you may not have time, and my goal is not to make money of this, this is a YouTube video, and we're going to do this as often as possible till you get it. Okay? So the first thing that you must know is that there are 5 areas where you see a thread running through relationships from the time you're single till the time you become married, happily so, till the time you have to resolve your first conflict, subsequent conflicts, marriage therapy, marriage counseling, or even divorce-related issues. Those 5 areas are the areas where you cannot but understand where and who you are. What are these 5 areas? Number 1, financially. Number 2, physically. Number 3, mentally. Number 4, emotionally. And number 5, spiritually. Those are the 5 areas. If you know that there is a financial area that you must evaluate or examine thoroughly before marrying someone, I think you'll be a little bit smarter about how you choose a person. Physically, there are so many things that you need to look at, both within yourself and at the potential partner that you want to marry. Number 3, mentally. There's some mental aspects involved in the process of choosing wisely. Fourthly, emotionally. There are emotional areas that you must look at. Most people say, well, I love this person, that's why I want to marry them. Okay? Love is not just an emotion. And when you want to use what you're feeling to decide whether or not to marry somebody, your feelings may be absolutely wrong. And lastly, the spiritual area. Again, it's financial, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual areas that you'll need to look at if you want to choose wisely. We're talking about the first aspect of the fundamentals of mate selection. Again, my name is Dr. Caxton. I thank you for taking the time to listen to this video series, and I pray that as we produce more, you will learn more, and it'll be a tremendous blessing to you. God bless you.